Welcome back to another exciting edition of Rake Your Position, where four lifelong friends are living out the dream from the comfort of their chairs. We are back after our fantasy draft, and I'm still your host.
Somehow.
And I am Joe the groundskeeper. We have a new chocolate light candy coming out. The number one option was taken, the name, so we had to go with our number two option. It's going to be called Feces Pieces.
Can you get away from the bodily function jokes?
Before you guys got on, so like 7:40, we've been on for a while. Joe starts laughing. He hadn't said anything. He's just laughing over there. He goes, "I can't wait. I've been thinking about my intro all day, and I'm so excited to say it."
Is there a market for that, or?
We're establishing a market.
All right, cool. I'm Jaylee the Rover.
And I'm Corey the
Don't
Sandman.
follow up. Alrighty, guys. Well, today is kind of opening day. They're not really calling it opening day, but it's the opening series.
Opening morning.
Opening middle of the night. So we're going to talk a little bit about the first game of the year that took place, and then hit up some transactions, good and bad, today as we look forward to the full opening day, which is a week away. So can't wait. Spring training's gonna be wrapping up. Well, we actually have an actual game to talk about. And yes, that was the Seoul, Korea 2-game series is underway. Game one was this morning here in Illinois at 5:30 in the morning. So I don't know what time that is in Korea. Was it like 7 p.m. or something like that? But it was the Dodgers versus Padres. 3 of us had the Dodgers in first place. I think all of us had the Padres in third. Did anybody not have them in third place?
I don't remember.
I
think
don't
I had
remember.
them making the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's third
Keeps
or not.
track of that.
But we're going to talk more about the Padres here in a little bit when we get to transactions because they're still making some moves. But, it's a pretty good series to start off with. I think a lot of it is with Ohtani on the Dodgers and Kim on the Padres. It made a lot of sense. I'm not sure when they actually scheduled this, but those are 2 of the biggest Asian stars in MLB, so it's cool that they got to play over there. I know Kim in the preseason game they played 2 nights ago, got hit 2 home runs. He hasn't played there since he came back to the MLB, so that's pretty cool. But overall, it's about what we expected. Good ball game. Dodgers pull out the win. Opening thoughts for this first game, guys?
Did you see who threw the opening pitch?
I did not.
I did not.
Little ball player named Chan-Ho Park.
I was wondering. He's been kind of the ambassador for it. He's the
Nice.
first Korean-born player to play in the MLB, so I knew they've been using him as kind of the face of the event. So that's cool. Was Tatis there? Senior?
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't peep that highlight. That
Are
was
you-
the-
are you-
one of the-
Wondering if Tatis hit a dinger off Chan-Ho Park's first
there's
pitch.
there's any more Grand Slams happening. Tatis against Park.
What did his windup look like? Just put
It
above
was
his head?
60 It was 67 across the plate.
Oh, I thought you said he was 67. I'm like, man,
Oh
he
no.
got in a time machine.
Good day, Joel.
No. I guess my first thoughts looking at the lineups here, and obviously knowing Ohtani is in Dodger blue, but man, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman. I knew
Pretty
we
good.
talked about it, but that's a solid 1, 2, 3 punch. And I know the Braves are gonna be pretty good, but do they have a better 1, 2, 3 punch than that? Now I know the Dodgers lineup after that little sketch. Man, I think I would take that over anything in MLB right now.
I would
Yeah.
agree that top 3 is better than the Braves because the Braves have the power. I don't think they have the all aroundness of the Dodgers top 3.
And
It's going to be fun to
past the
watch all
top,
year.
even past the top 3, I mean, these are still above average players. I mean, are you looking? I mean, maybe Hayward. He's who knows what he's going to do? But I don't know. I
Careful,
don't. I don't.
Corey's on
I
here.
don't.
He's a big Hayward fan.
I mean, I like Hayward too, but he's never. He's not consistent enough. I mean, before last year, didn't he have like 4 or 5 just awful years?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
every
were all
4 years
wearing
he
Cubs
has a good
jerseys.
year. He had a good rookie
So
year, then he was bad. Then he went to the Cardinals and had a good year, and then he was bad. Then he went to the Dodgers, had a good year. It's like his first year at every new place. He's good. So we'll see.
I wanted to point out that I researched where they were playing at, and of course I'll absolutely butcher this name, but in Seoul, however you say South Korea's capital's name, Seoul, Seoul, South Korea. Obviously, name of the stadium is Gocheok Sky Dome. It cost 240 billion to make. Now, that's expensive. And it only seats 16,700. So I kind of wonder, it must be made of gold. Oh, wait, no, it's 240 billion won, which is roughly 180 million bucks. But it's kind of a small place. It's the home park of the Kiwoom Heroes of the
Nailed
KBO.
it.
So, I'm guessing that you got to think it's sold out, right? I didn't look up and see if it was,
Yeah, when
but
I got to turn on the seventh and eighth inning, I got to watch, and it looked full, but then they said the attendance was 15,900. I'm like, or whatever it was. It wasn't quite 16,000.
yeah.
Wasn't quite 16,000 people, but that makes sense if that's all it holds.
Yeah, sometimes they like rope off sections and still call it sold out. So,
Yeah. But they
um,
had like cheerleaders going on the whole time. They had a guy on each dugout, and like one guy had the Dodgers gear on, one guy had a Padres gear on, and they had like microphones and were like talking like Freddie's batting, and they're like doing cheers. You could hear it come through the TV. It was different atmosphere, but they were going for it. They were trying to keep the crowd into it the whole day.
yeah, it would
Hmm.
it would be super interesting to see the culture of a fan base because I think we know that the culture of just the people. I guess it's not they're not in Japan, but I assume South Korea's got similar types of cultural norms, and just you saying they were chanting things was kind of a surprise to me. I figured everything was quiet until something happened. I don't know. Maybe it's a stereotype I shouldn't hold, but I bet it's much different than than what we got going on here in the States.
I
Yeah.
thought you were going to say North Korea, which I would also agree. It's probably much different than what they got
Yes.
going on in North Korea.
Yeah, I think they're looking at Pyongyang for next year. Not
Probably.
I heard
not nailed
somebody talking about that for an expansion team.
not nailed down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, looking
yeah.
at those lineups, Jared, Bogarts, Tatis, Machado would be a nice top three, but they're forced to put Cronenworth in that three spot to get their best lefty bat up there. And man, that's
Mhm.
just a big hole when there's no Soto. Because last year that would have been
Yeah.
Soto in the 2 or 3 spot. So yeah, it's still a decent lineup for the Padres. I know they're super high on that Jackson Merrill, their rookie shortstop, getting the center field job. Um, but yeah, it's the bottom half of that line is pretty weak. Capisano, Wade, Merrill. So even though the Padres still have some star power themselves, it just seems like they're clearly third best, if that. Now that the Giants have kept adding, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The play that really switched things up when I turned it on, Daniel Hudson came in for the Dodgers in the seventh inning, I believe it was, and he looked nasty. I know he's always had stuff and always gets hurt,
Got
but
the
I
dub.
know, yeah, Brusdar Gratterall and Blake Trinan are both starting on the IL. And so that moves Evan Phillips and Daniel Hudson up an inning at the back of that pen, and he looked filthy. So if they get everybody healthy and all of a sudden he's pitching fifth, sixth inning to get starters out of jams, it's going to be a nice bullpen. But then when the Dodgers came up to bat, the Padres brought in that, I don't know how to say his last name, Adrian Morajon. Is that close?
Morahan,
Lefty,
maybe.
Morahan, lefty, young guy to come in to face the top of the order. Lux, and then the top of the order. And Gavin Lux hit a blistering, like 85-mile-per-hour hopper at Cronenworth, and it went through Cronenworth's glove.
I
I don't know if you
saw
saw
that.
that.
Yeah.
It broke his webbing. You can't assume a double play. Like the pitcher would have had to cover, but for sure he gets it out at second. One run doesn't score. and that inning doesn't snowball. So it was crazy. They ended up scoring 4 runs, and I don't think they hit anything over 90 miles per hour. Betts RBI single barely got through the left side. It jammed him really bad. And then Otani got jammed and hit a blooper that just barely made it to center field. But that's what good hitters do, man. They make contact, and all of a sudden that's one bobble with a broken glove turned into 4 runs really quick in the 8th inning. And that's all she wrote. So, yeah, that top of the order is going to have to carry the Dodgers, but they look good.
That's a tough error for Cronenworth as well.
Yeah.
Well, let me jump in here and let me tell you that the game was already over before that happened. Okay. So normally what I do, not normally, I don't know if it's normally, I can't put a statistic on it. I'll look at the box score, and I need to see about 2 columns before I already go, no, oh, well, I know who won. And if you scroll,
Can I guess one?
yeah, go for it.
Is one of them walks?
No. So if you scroll
Ooh.
if you scroll to the bottom of the walk column, did you say walks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think I said?
I heard you.
Box.
Box?
Yeah, I thought you
Cox?
They had 6 balks and 4 runs came in.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
So if you either go to the bottom of the Dodgers batters or the bottom of the Padres pitchers, you're going to see a number. I mean, this is absolutely mind-boggling that I have to sit here in this house and make less money than these guys, knowing that I could go all 9 innings and not do this. So you're going to see a number 9, aka 9 walks. And being that it's a new season and being that they've obviously not learned anything from my pitching strategy, I can't get rid of the I'm an idiot sign because that's obviously still holds true and always will. But I do.
It's dried out, actually. He can't erase it.
It's going to be back. Is it backwards on y'all's screen?
No,
No,
you're
it's
good.
good.
No, that's perfect.
Okay. Well, I have a new sign that just says just throw strikes. I would like to add like 15 obscenities both in front and behind that phrase, but this is a family friendly show, so I'll save that for the Cardinal games. So I'll make sure this is posted up behind us. But just because Corey, you'll like this. Sorry to interrupt you,
Okay.
but I think you'll
No,
like this. So at the beginning of the 8th, the top of the 8th, when the score is 2-1 Padres, the Padres have a 75.3% chance to win. This is according to MLB.com. The very first batter, Max Muncy, walks. Leadoff walk. Absolute nail in the coffin, guaranteed to score. So after that walk, they went from 75% chance to win to 97.8% chance to lose after a leadoff walk. And what happened? They lost. They scored 4 runs in that inning. They lost 5-2. So that's just 9 walks. Absolutely mind-boggling. Anybody start talking so I don't have to continue.
I
That's
would like to check
gross.
your math that you just after
mean,
the leadoff walk, it went from 75% chance to win to 97% chance to lose.
Plus or minus probably 2 to 3%.
Sure, yeah, okay. I was curious how well you censor yourself as the assistant coach of a 12-year-old baseball team.
Oh, hey, very well. Thank you.
Do you
Okay,
carry
that's
that
good.
sign with you to the games?
It's just in the dugout. It's like at the end of
I mean, that's
Breakfast
pretty
Club?
much
Nice.
that's
Wait,
pretty much
what's
the
this?
extent of my pitching coaching abilities. So,
I
yeah,
also want to go back to something that you said because I don't disagree. Walks are annoying, but you quoted that I'm making less money sitting here knowing well that I would not do that. So you're saying you wouldn't walk anybody, you'd throw strikes, but how hard are you throwing? And for 9 innings?
I didn't say
Answer the question. Answer the question.
the question was not phrased appropriately.
If
but
you're just throwing strikes, how hard are you throwing?
not hard. I mean,
So what I'm also saying is if you're not walking 9 people, are you still only giving up 5 runs or are you giving up more runs? Because I'm going to say if you're throwing 50 miles an hour, just throwing strikes, you're giving up more than 5 runs, Joe.
you're gonna say that, but there's no past examples of that being unsuccessful.
I don't even want to talk to
Therefore,
you. I don't want to talk to you
therefore,
anymore. This is
therefore,
ridiculous.
what?
If
Sign
that's the
me.
case, if that's the case, why are you sitting on this podcast right now? You should be in the major leagues.
That's what I'm saying. I agree.
Sure,
Sign me to a
go
1 year
ahead.
deal. Let's give it a trial run. If it doesn't work out, just give me the
Your
vet
ERA is
minimum.
going
I'll
to be
leave.
just an infinite sign.
On top of those 9 walks, they also hit Freddie once. So 10 free bases.
passes.
Yeah. Freddie got on 3 times without getting hit. So
Yeah, you Darvish didn't look too good either. Going back to this game, I think he only pitched 3 and 2/3, and then I think he had 3 of those 9 walks that Joe's alluding to. So it's not really what you want to see from the starting pitcher.
yeah, I don't recognize a lot. I mean, these Padres relief pitchers, Matsui's the new guy. Cosgrove came in and beamed Freddie. I have no idea who that is. Johnny Brito is one of the young guys that they expect to start, but they went ahead and used him in the pen since they got so many days off after this. Estrada, like these guys aren't. And they had Suarez warming up before it got out of hand. So pretty weak pen without Hader all of a sudden. That brings us to some more Dodgers news, which is kind of interesting. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to really break into it yet. I've read a couple of reports, but this whole Shohei Ohtani's interpreter getting fired over a 4.5 million betting issue.
Gambling debt, I think.
Yeah, gambling debt, yes.
So he's not very good at it.
But there's some interesting takes. I'll open it up to you guys first to give me some insight. But I've read a couple of interesting articles that don't paint Ohtani in the greatest of light.
Well, so because it got flagged because the $4.5 million came from like one of Ohtani's accounts, but it apparently it went directly to the person who they owed the money to because he said that his translator's name is Ipe. He did not trust Ipe with the money. But then at the same time, like reading these articles, you hear about how like Ohtani and Ipe spend more time together than Ipe spent with his wife, and like they celebrate, like they spent Christmas together, and like they like if you saw Ohtani basically with the Angels, you saw Ipe. Um, so like it is interesting, and from what it sounds thus far, which is maybe 6 hours into this news story, Ohtani is in the clear as of right now. But
until the Korean series is over and he's home.
Yeah, there are certainly some question marks about what's going on here. But if it was all eBay, just like thinking about you are getting paid more than any translator ever. I'm almost certain, and like all you have to do is like sit there and listen to people talk. What are you doing, man?
Well, even if it's Ohtani himself, it's like you got 700 million coming. Like, what do you need to bet on? But yeah, go ahead, Joe. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I didn't read into it much. The thing I took away from it was the interpreter is an employee of the Dodgers, right? They're the ones that hired this guy, and they're the one that got him with Ohtani. So I feel like there may be some liability there, either I don't know, criminally or civilly to Ohtani to not Ohtani. But I wonder, I wonder what the legalities of this is going to be, and who gets drug where and how and what.
If somebody in your organization, Joe, got caught illegally gambling millions of dollars, wait,
am I the owner of this organization?
Well, no, you're the HR guy.
Oh, my current employer.
Yeah, like
I just feel
not
like
going to do anything besides fire.
But I mean, I would say I'm a semi-professional lawyer. I took one class in college. If my employer provided me with an asset that stole $4.5 million of my assets, I feel like I could go back to my employer and be like,
"Well,
did you vet this guy?"
The Dodgers didn't choose Ipe.
Saying.
Ipe came with Ohtani, but
you're saying Ohtani could go after the Dodgers.
Yes,
gotcha.
But he was chosen by Otani. Like the organization is going to hire whoever Otani wants.
I'm sure it's in
Like
his contract. Bring him with me.
yeah, like he's been with Otani back even when he was in Japan.
That's fair.
And like Ipe actually one of the interesting things I read was that quit his job during the lockout because technically they couldn't have any contact with each other because uh you couldn't have contact with employees of your organization and a player. So Ipe quit, so Otani and him could still work together. So that was a connection before the Dodgers or even before he came over to the MLB.
Yeah, these guys have been together every day since Otani came
Mm-hmm.
over. He has probably full access to Otani's life when nobody else does. And the original report was that this guy said, yeah, Otani sent me this money to cover my debt. And then before the article dropped, they fired him. And Otani's rep said, Otani's not going to talk about this. These are fake accusations. He knew nothing about it. And it's like, clearly Otani knew $4.5 million was missing. So it does sound like Otani knew the gambling was going on, whether it was this guy is taking the money and making the bet for Otani, or if Otani realized his friend's in trouble and he needs to
Mm-hmm.
cover it. Either way, Otani is not innocent in this. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you can actually do if this guy's really going to take the fall and say it was my bet, my gambling, my illegal action. Just looks bad for Otani. What are your thoughts, Jared?
Maybe what's this guy's name again? I know you guys said his name.
Ipe?
I said Epi. Ipe. Maybe he was mad that his money was getting deferred and he wanted his money now.
You should call JG Wentworth.
You beat me to it.
877 cash now. No, I mean I think my thoughts are the same as your guys'. I kind of alluding to because I didn't know all of it. I just read the thing that came out on ESPN and whatnot, but kind of alluding to what Aaron's saying, like you ain't innocent, like not 100% innocent. Like you knew something was going on. Now to the extent we don't know, obviously, but like if you guys are that close, there's something more. And I don't know. I mean, hopefully it comes out and Otani does get most of his name cleared because that would be really bad just to have this on your because you've always seemed like a stand-up guy and great for the game and the organization and all that fun stuff. So hopefully it's nothing crazy and he can kind of just wipe it away or whatever. But I don't even know what they would do in a situation where if they found Otani like insanely guilty, like
Gonna ban him from
He's
baseball.
wild.
Yeah, I mean, if he's the one actually
Yeah.
making the bets, see ya.
he's right,
And Pete
which
Rose
would
has
be
been banned.
wild, wild.
Maybe the Dodgers should just trade him to like the Cubs now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they should just cut him now, kind of like the
It-
NFL situation, you know?
What's been kind of cool with this, I mean, Otani was going to the Dodgers. We pretty much all knew that. But what's been kind of cool is he's been more relaxed, more outgoing. He's interacting like a lot of interviews lately have been him, Freddie, and Betts all together, which Freddie and Betts are two of the best personalities with the media. So probably makes it easier for Otani to fit in there. Where it's like the Angels, Trout wasn't and still isn't very active with the media. And then most of the guys that did talk to the media, like Rendon, were pretty negative. So I'm sure it's easier for Otani to be involved in the media with Freddie and Betts around. But then, he gets married. He's actually showing pictures of his wife on social media. Like you're getting to see a little bit more insight into his life, and he's being more outgoing with his teammates in the media. And then, bam, a big red flag pops up out of nowhere on opening day. So, yeah, it's something to keep our eye on for sure. Because, yeah, if he's the one that's actually betting, or if he was more involved than they're letting on, that could be game changing for the Dodgers and for MLB. So
And if they're looking for a new interpreter, I'll do my best.
I won't waste $4.5 million on
Same.
gambling. I might waste it somewhere else.
If it's my contract, I'll waste it somewhere else. I'm not going to bet on it.
So the first game under wraps and a whole season of experience with these new rules, Joe is going to lead us in some conversation about pros and cons and even some slightly more changes with the rules. So go for it, Joe.
Bum bum bum.
Yes. So mostly I was thinking about, so it's been a year. I know we've dabbled and talked a little bit about some of the changes that they implemented last year, mostly for the pace of play, speed the game up, yarda yarda. So I was just gonna get everybody's thoughts, listeners chime in with yours as well. I think we'll start with, and we might start and end with both these two, but so we have the pitch clock. Which I'll let Aaron talk about some of the changes there because I was unaware of those. And then also the what was the rule called? You just can't throw over more than twice. A variation of that. I know you can go again, but so yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? I got thoughts, but I won't steal something you have to say. If anybody wants to take off on those two rule changes, you think good for the game? We need to take them away, take one away, take nothing away.
I do, just off the top of my, I do enjoy not seeing a 10 attempt throw over when someone's trying to steal. So I do enjoy that. Um, I think two, I don't know, maybe they can increase that number by one. I feel a little bit better about it because I do think two's kind of like just not enough for the pitcher if you're trying to control the game. Because that includes a step off too with a runner on base, right? Like you're not even
Yeah.
an attempt over. So, I mean, if you're thinking about it, like if you don't like the pitch or if something doesn't feel right when you're about to throw, like I don't know. I think maybe a step off and two attempts over or something like that. Maybe not three attempts over, but if you need to step off, it shouldn't count towards the number right away or whatever. But I don't know. But like I said, I do enjoy the pitcher not just throwing over like 15 times and before they even throw a single pitch.
Do you guys remember that clip I sent you? I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. It was a guy trying to pick him off. It was an outrageous number of times. Maybe it was Vince Coleman or somebody, but it was. Do you remember how many that was? It was like 23 or something in a row. It was
Yeah,
something
I don't know, but some of those
something
old time guys
outlandish.
would throw over ridiculous amounts. Yeah. There's a
And
fun video I saw today that I missed last year. It's Chris Bassett for the Blue Jays and Mitch Garver for the Rangers was on third, and they had I forget who was batting. It was like a lefty batting, and so they had a massive shift on. So the third base is way away from the bag, and Bassett steps off once because Garver got a huge lead. Just looks at him. Well, there's no one. I mean, Garver's still closer than third baseman is. So Bassett comes set again. Garver goes way out there. Bassett steps off again. So it's two disengagements. So Garver knows he can't do it third time. So Garver gets halfway home. Like it's not even. I mean, he could have gone home first. And so Bassett steps off, and there's no third baseman. So he runs to third base to try to tag him. Do you guys see this? So it was Bassett and
Mm-mm.
Garver running back to third base, and Garver gets back, dives in, and gets to third base first. And so that counts as a third disengagement. So then Garver got to get up and walk home. And I
Oh, that's
had seen
awesome.
that.
Jeez.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, I like the steals that have increased. Back when we were kids, like Vince Coleman and those guys, the steals were more of a weapon. And then the last 10 to 15 years, with the three true outcomes and analytics, steals have had a negative connotation, almost like why even try it? Because a caught stealing's more hurtful than a successful steal is the way people have been looking at it. But I think it's been fun at least last year with all the extra steals, more fun. I thought we would see more catchers back picking like Yachty used to always do. And I don't remember seeing that a whole lot because there's still a lot of good catchers that can throw. Salvi and Murphy and JT and Moreno. Like these guys got cannons. Both Contreras boys can chuck it. But I don't recall seeing a whole lot of catchers pick back picking because that doesn't count as a disengagement. So it's at least a way to keep the secondary lead shorter for your pitchers. But I enjoyed the extra running. I didn't notice the size of the bases impacting it as much as the pickoffs. Because even pitchers were less likely to pick off in general. So runners got bigger leads, it seemed like.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's just nice to move the game along a little bit. I mean, like you see the tweets or whatever about the amount of games that are over 3 hours, and it was like you talk about 10 years ago, it was over 50%, and now it was like less than 5%. I think average game time was like 2 hours and 37 minutes or something like that. That's just super nice. The pitch clock,
Absolutely.
I didn't really. It seemed like as the season went on, didn't really notice it. I'm guessing, and I don't. Aaron, you might know a little bit more about why it got changed further or the exact reasoning, but I'm guessing they kind of looked at it and because I'll spoil it for you. Um, I know everybody's on the edge of their seats about what this new rule change is, but the pitch clock when there's runners on base got reduced from 20 seconds to 18 seconds. I have to think that they looked at the numbers and like 95% of pitchers were making a pitch in 18 seconds or less anyway, so it's just not really going to make that significant of a difference. Um, just because it doesn't seem like it's that significant of a difference. But I don't know if you want to expand on that anymore. But I think all the rules. It's nice to see the game evolve a little bit. You get the people that kind of the grumpy old men yelling from their porch, but it's I think all in all, like 1 year later, I don't really have an issue with anything.
Today, the Padres had 4 pitch clock violations. I don't know if you saw that too. So that was a
Some
couple of the walks.
Mookie's first walk, like leadoff walk,
Yeah.
was you, not you personally, you
Yeah.
Darvish did a pitch clock violation.
Yeah, you Darvish had one. So I wonder how many of those 4 led to a walk. That's a big deal, giving Betts an extra pitch. Um, but I'm guessing, I don't know why they reduced it from 20 to 18 seconds. I'm guessing it's because of how successful and quick the pitch calm is, um, with runners on base, especially at second. You used to like go through 30 signs to get to a fastball because everybody's afraid that everybody was stealing signs. And so getting a pitch to the pitcher with runners on base took forever. I'm guessing with the pitch calm and it's just hit this button, it's quick and easy, so we can do it faster. That'd be my guess,
How
but I don't know why.
I wonder how they keep that thing from getting hacked. Anything electronic sent into communication, you'd think some.
Yeah, when I buy my team, I'm hiring Elon Musk as my advanced scout and just, dude, find a way to hack everybody's system. It's gonna be great.
There you go. You got to think. I don't know. Maybe there's ways around that nowadays, but
There is
I'm
mine. If I ever own a team, my pitch com will have obviously like the vibrations and stuff that the pitcher and catcher can know what they're calling, but mine will say something out loud like fastball, but it's actually not a fastball. So they get it in their head. So they're like, oh, we know what's coming.
Smart.
I'm
I
gonna
think
have
it
guys
should
in the
like
dugout, like
repeat.
at college football games, where they hold up the signs with just like the random pictures on it.
Just like 4 different sides.
Yeah,
There you go. That's a good strategy. I like that.
Just with the rules change real quick, and then we can move on. Is I know we talked about with the pitch clock, the potential of pitchers pitching faster and hurting themselves. I don't really feel like we saw an increase in arm injuries outside of the norm with that last year. I kind of felt like it felt like the same type of normal amount, but I don't know if you guys felt any other different about that or
Yeah, the narrative has been, holy cow, pitchers are dropping like flies. But I was actually listening to a Baseball Tonight podcast in the off season, and I wish I would have saved it or wrote it down. I was driving when he said it, but they were showing Buster Olney was making a list of like the last 10 years arm injuries and how they've increased. And 2022 was actually the highest. It actually last year was a little bit behind 2022. It's still a ridiculous amount. Like it was close. Like the last 2 years have been way more than everything else. But from 2022 to 2023, it actually dropped slightly with days spent on the IL by pitchers with arm injuries. So it'll be interesting, more and more years, because might as well just segue into your next topic, Jared, because we're going to talk about some impactful injuries to close out spring. And the first 5 are, I think, maybe the 5 highest paid pitchers right now in AAV this year, and they're all starting on the IL. So
Yeah, why'd we have to list the first one first? That hurts a little bit.
it may or may not be somebody's Cy Young pick.
This was my Cy Young pick. I just think bad luck for the Yankees, man. Like I felt like last year, Rodon was hurt, Cortez was always hurt. They get all these pitchers that you think can come in and do something there. And I mean, obviously Garrett Cole won it the Cy Young Award last year and was a potential front runner for it again. But now he's hurt, going to be out at least a few months. So I mean, unless he just comes back and straight up dominates, I think that might be out of the picture for him. But um, he's going to be starting. Gossman. We already saw Verlander on there. DeGrom. Uh, man, that's just another name that you you hear Jacob DeGrom and all you ever think of now is just injury. I mean, he's been an amazing pitcher when he's healthy, but you always just think, oh, he's hurt. Scherzer's coming back eventually, but he had what kind of surgery did he have?
Was his a shoulder?
Back surgery, herniated disc. There it is.
Oof.
So, it's been cleared to resume baseball activities, but you never know. Like Joe would say, with a week back, you never know what's going to happen there. And then obviously another potential MVP pick of mine and Bryce Harper having a week back. Is it a week yet, Joe?
I think maybe one more day.
Yeah.
One more day. So you have a week back, about a week back.
About, yeah.
Oh,
About, yeah.
nice. And my favorite thing about that is when we saw, I think Cooney sent us that clip of it. And literally, if you clicked on the article or whatever, all the Philly said is like, yeah, we're not concerned. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. Have you guys ever had a back injury?
Every day of my life.
I have actually never had a back injury like that.
Okay.
Nothing significant.
So I'm saying, yeah, me either. Nothing significant. But literally the other day at work, I was just cleaning something up in the back room, picked up a piece of cardboard to put into our baler, right? And just this most just pain just across the bottom of my back. I've said it before, just like that guitar note on Rookie of the Year when it comes across. That's what felt like going across my back. So you mean to tell me a guy that I think has had back problems in the past that you're not concerned about it? Because what I'm telling you about the back too is that's happened like 2 weeks ago, and I was doing nothing at all, and it still hurts to this day. So the back ain't nothing to be like, I'm not concerned about. So I think the Phillies are just hoping that it's nothing, but it doesn't seem good there. So there's a few more that I could mention, but I'll get your guys' thoughts on all those first, and then kind of go around the horn if any other ones have popped up to you guys that we haven't mentioned.
If you were to show me like 5 random players' swings, and one of them was Bryce Harper, and you would tell me which one of these swings looks like it's going to result in somebody's back hurting, it's probably Bryce Harper's. It's a pretty vicious hack, which works.
But a beautiful
man,
swing.
yeah, it looks like it can hurt yourself.
I
Which
did read
one?
today. I don't
Go
know if
ahead.
you mentioned. I don't know if this was one of those 5 guys you mentioned. I don't think, but Sonny Gray is pitching. They didn't call it a minor league game. They called it like a minor league type of game situation. I don't know. It was really worded really weird, but it looks like he may be ready for opening a series at least. And then, hamstring, that's another thing. Those never linger. Those always heal and just stay permanently healed. So shouldn't be any issues there.
Out of all those big injuries right now, like what team's fortune is hurt the most right now? Like what
I mean,
team coming out of
two,
spring trading, what team is struggling?
two of those
Because
guys are on the
Eagles.
Rangers. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're struggling though, but I mean, if you're talking about,
Yeah, like they knew
if,
DeGrom was going to be gone. They've
yeah,
got other rotation options, even if Scherzer's out for a little bit. So I agree with you. I'm not too worried about the Rangers.
My vote would be Cole.
Yeah. Blue Jays too, maybe. Gossman kind of carried that rotation last year because there was a lot of inconsistency among the other guys.
Mhm.
I
I mean,
Um,
think
Harper. Go ahead.
no, with the expectations that the Yankees have, because I see what you're saying with Toronto, but I don't think their expectations. I mean, the Yankees have sky high expectations because they're Yankees, but yeah, behind Cole, it's a lot of question marks, a lot of
But
glass.
Buster said today on his podcast that Cole hasn't had an elbow injury since like 2016 or something like that, 2018, something like that. It's been like 6 or 7 years. Um, but yeah, he's durable. He's a Cy Young winner. He's the ace of that team, and they're going to need him. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. There's just a lot of big names that kind
because
of
I think
stinks, but
because I think Harper. I mean, Phillies did well. He until he came back last year too. I mean, they hung around, and I think they could probably do that again. But I was also reading on here too, talking about big names with injuries. I mean, the Yankees got to be careful here because Aaron Judge, I guess, has had some things flare up in the spring training too that he'll
yeah, he
be
hasn't
ready
played
to
full
go.
seasons very often.
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. He'll be ready to go, and then DJ LeMahieu too. So I mean,
They're an
those could be
injury-prone team.
yeah,
Yep.
could be three big names right out the gate, and then newest D-back, Erod. I saw had some stuff going on too. Uh, removed from the game against the Cubs with left lat tightness, which I don't
Those
know if you
dang
guys know
left lats,
where your lat is. I believe that's in your back, which is
and it's the side muscle here that goes around.
mhm. So
Yeah, look
that's
at these anatomy experts.
thanks. That'll heal real quick, as Joe would say. See if there's anything else to note
Here's a
about.
random name. Um, Brad Penny. I feel like Brad Penny had a lat injury for like 4 straight years. Just
But
throw
they
that out
said
there.
fat injury.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Yeah, I got a couple of those. Uh, Urquidy for the Astros is also potentially out for a while. So
Hmm.
Rikishi?
Urquidy and Verlander both being out, they're really going to need Hunter Brown to take a huge step forward this year because we talked about him being the mixed rookie of the year last year, and he was fine. Um, but yeah, they got sky high expectations too, and they're going to be out their top two pitchers for a while. And they got Devin Williams, one of the filthiest closers with a broken back, but he's also a closer for the Brewers. So
Yeah. I don't
yeah,
think that affects their outlook too much.
yeah, might cost them a couple games, but not a
Uh,
huge thing.
but all these guys, Jordan Montgomery's available. The Astros were in on Snell for a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Snell signed, guys.
Wait,
It's
what?
almost over. It's almost over. There's only
He'll be ready by May.
one and a half guys left that we not that JD Martinez is a half a guy, although I guess he only does only play he does play
According to
sit-ball or
Joe,
whatever. Um his stats are gonna be
half the
slashed in
stats.
half. Um but yeah, Blake Snell signed. And he signed right where Matt Chapman signed. And this is after before both signings, the Giants GM said, no, we're done, guys, we're done. Don't worry about us. And then,
Gotcha.
yeah, there's a
Psych.
wink. He even said wink when he winked. He didn't quite understand how it worked. Wink. Um, Matt Chapman goes for um
Was this
one
three
year.
years?
That's
No,
I mean it's 1 year, and then there's a $17 million player option, and then an $18 million option. So it's 3 years, but opt outs or options after every year.
gotcha.
I think it could be worth a total of $54 million. The first year is $18 million. I mean, you heard before, and it's the same with Snell. You heard before, really, I think we even got into free agency. Like these guys turned down, I think we heard 100+ million for Chapman. We heard $150 million from Snell, even in free agency, I think from the Yankees. And so Snell's deal is 2 years, $62 million with an opt-out after the first year, which after winning the Cy Young, it's a pretty tough look. And this is like the day before he signs with the Giants for 2 years and 62 with an opt-out. We heard that the Astros scoffed at 2 years and 66 million with an opt-out. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'll take that. I mean, I don't have $66 million, but I know Tommy Ricketts does. So, hey, Tommy, call up little Scotty Boras and just dish it over. Those are the big four of the three that were left. That's a lot of numbers right there. Signed, and they both went to the Giants. And then we had a big move on the um, trade front where I feel like Dylan Cease's name has been kind of mentioned since the trade deadline last year. He's got this year and next year under team control, and he goes to the Padres, which okay. Um, the Padres do, I mean, at least for this year and next year, have a lot of, you know, have a lot of options in pitching because they basically replenished their rotation, I think, with the Juan Soto trade. Whether or not those are, I think Michael King has some. Yeah, Joe, I'll talk long enough. Go ahead. Um, I think Michael
Hi,
King
Joe.
has a lot of high upside. I think the other guys might be seen more as back into the rotation guys, but they did flip Drew Thorpe, who they got from the Yankees to the White Sox, along with I think some other top 10 prospects in their organization, and then a major league reliever who I believe was told about the trade as he was waiting at an airport to get on a plane to go to Korea. And I did see there was a banner of him up, like the light post banners. There was a banner of this guy up in Korea, and so it's a little awkward. Um, but I feel like the whole time we heard about Dylan Cease, um, is that like his the asking price was astronomical, and looking at what they gave up, like these guys could be major leaguers. I think Drew Thorpe, the guy who they flipped, from the Yankees, has the best chance. But with I think kind of the caliber of these prospects, they could be great. They could also get a cup of coffee and never play in the major leagues again. Like they're kind of they're anything. They're definitely not sure things, I guess. But so yeah, through we had some like we waited all off season for like this type of week to have where like you get two big names that sign, you get a big trade. Um, so we got Snell, Chapman, and off the board, and Cease hanging out in Korea now. So
Drew Thorpe might be Joe's favorite minor leaguer that Joe's never heard of. In 5 starts at Double A, he had a 148 ERA with a .6 WHIP, 44 strikeouts to 5 walks. So that's the main piece going back to the White Sox.
I'm gonna stop you right there. That's five too many.
That's 5 too many. He had 18 starts in High A with a 1 WHIP, 138 strikeouts to 33 walks. So 182 strikeouts, only 38 walks last year in the minors, making it Double A. So it's a nice little piece if he can keep doing that.
and Joe Boyle has the opposite of those numbers.
Yeah, that's all right. One's the majors and one's not yet.
One place for the Athletics. Let's just get that.
The White Sox are so much better. That's where Drew Thorpe came from originally.
To me, sorry, Aaron, where are you going?
I meant that's where Drew Thorpe ended up. Sorry. I was just saying the rosters of the Giants and the Padres. Like, take a look at that. I'm not so sure the Giants aren't going to catch the Padres now after all this. The Giants roster is not bad, and we haven't talked to anything about them really. Go ahead, Joe.
And to build on that a little bit, I guess it seems like the winning culture is there on the Giants, and it's obviously not there on the Padres, even once they tried to buy a team. And for the guys that have just now signed, and even Montgomery, who's still not signed, you kind of look at Boris. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can blame the agent or whatever, but I think there's just enough question marks with these guys that people were like, "Hey, we're not. We'll go 2 for 60, but we're not going 10 for 280, on some of these guys." And I would agree. I mean, Blake Snell just won the Cy Young, but he also just won the Walk Young too, aka the most walks in the league. Chapman's on the downhill of his career. Bellinger's up and down. Montgomery, I've always said I have no idea how that guy's good. He keeps his fastball down. That's it. his peripherals must be awful. I don't even know what peripheral means, but I hear people use it. And then I was thinking there was one other guy. Who's the other Boris guy that signed? Um,
Jared
yeah,
Lee.
maybe that's it.
That's the big four.
JD's still not signed. And again, um, I thought he was washed up last year when I watched him in LA, and he actually had a pretty
He
decent
was an
season.
all-star.
But again, when all you have to do is walk up to the plate 4 times a game and never have to worry about picking up a glove, it's pretty easy to be good. I mean, I could do that at probably an all-star level.
You're too busy pitching though at all-star level.
All-star pitcher, all-star hitter. What else can't you do,
It,
Joe?
I'm not saying I can do it. I'm saying there's no proof that I cannot do it.
I can't stand you, man.
I'm wondering. That's the Boris conversation, interesting one, because I'm wondering at this point how many teams even negotiate with Boris. I know the Braves don't. Um, I don't know when the last time the Braves signed a Boras free agent. A couple teams notoriously do, like the Nationals. Their owner and Boras are good friends, but the Nationals aren't
Why are
adding
you
right
saying
now.
his name so weird?
Boras. It's
Yeah.
Borat.
Boras.
So that's what I'm wondering. Like, 30 teams aren't going to talk to him just because they don't like working with him right off the
Yeah, the
bat.
Athletics are.
Yeah, and then how many of those teams aren't even adding right now? So the market for some of these guys has got to be very small to begin with.
Well, I think
But
too,
he
like,
does this.
yeah, he's been notorious for that. I think too, to Joe's point, like, yeah, Snell won a Cy Young, but also like I think again a lot of walks. Like that's and to instantly come and demand what he was demanding. I mean that would be off-putting to me. Like I wouldn't want to be wrapped into that for, 9, 10 plus years. I think if I'm being honest, I think those contracts, those 10, 9, 10, that range, like you're only gonna see to like your perennial people who have proven themselves, or more or less things like what the Braves have done with like the younger cats, given these eight
And
year
Bobby Witt.
deals, and Bobby Witt, who have established themselves to be pretty legit already, but also even more of an upside as they continue to progress and to where I don't know. Something just about Snell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to give him that many years.
It
But
I mean,
is
all
his
also,
all
second.
these guys were flawed. Like Snell
yeah,
walked everybody. Bellinger hit 200 2 years in a row before last year.
right.
Chapman hits homers and plays defense. You
It
know,
was Snell's second Cy Young. I think that's
Mhm.
important. He's a two-time Cy Young Award winner. Granted,
But he
this
doesn't
one I
even
think
average 5 innings to start for his career. I don't think so. It's like, how much money are you going to pay that guy?
apparently 2
Not,
years
62
and
mil.
62
not
million. Yeah.
much. Yeah, with an opt out. So hopefully he takes it, gets out of there. Yeah. So like
Yeah,
all these
I
guys
guess
were flawed, and Boris has a way of spinning all of his clients to make them look awesome. But I think front offices now have such deep analytics teams that Scott can't trick people anymore like he used to. Like I remember Prince Fielder when he signed his deal, it was late in spring training, and this is a guy that's stuck at first base. He's a good first baseman, but like he got paid. Was it the Tigers that ended up paying him, or
Mhm.
was it the Rangers
Yeah.
deal that I
No, it's
forget?
Tigers.
Tigers,
So they
yeah,
traded him for Kinsler.
yeah. I mean, but I think front offices have their own guys that are just as smart now as Scott Boras, and you're seeing his influence
Yeah, I guess what I'll
kind of
say
fall
too
apart.
is with Snell and his deal is, and again, we don't know who all they negotiated with or whatever, but um, really, he's gonna. I mean, if he even has like a middle to top tier year, he's gonna opt out. Like he's not gonna opt in, and he's gonna go for another deal. So essentially, these other teams that could have used some rotation help,
Hmm.
did they just not want to bother with it, or because essentially it's a 1 year deal?
Mm-hmm.
And there's not going
And
to
I
be the
don't know.
pitchers next year like Yamamoto, Shohei,
Yeah.
um, Snell, Cy Young Award
So there will
winner.
be a better market for him,
Yeah.
yes, for sure. So I don't know.
Where
Interesting,
do you
but
guys think Montgomery's going to go now? Because I think like the Yankees would have been in on Cease. had Cole got hurt sooner. So I kind of think Montgomery going back to New York makes a lot of sense. He's proven he can pitch just fine there. But what do you guys think? Where's Montgomery
That
going to go?
I mean, that makes me think he won't. Like, if they wanted him, they could have used him. They know who he is. They know everything about him. If they wanted him,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would have
True.
maybe picked him up before the
They're
injury.
also at the third luxury tax, so every dollar they spend, they have to match it 100% in luxury
Yeah,
tax.
same with I saw that same with Houston too.
It's like Snell would have cost them. They paid Snell 30 million. It would have cost the Yankees 60 million for 1 year.
Does Houston have 5 starters?
Not all healthy. Well, Verlander, Ikedi, Fromber, Brown. Is McCullers hurt again too?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Probably.
he's always hurt.
I think Houston makes a lot of sense. I
Yeah, it
think
does.
especially
Kind of what I
since
was
they
thinking.
were in discussions on Snell. Um,
I mean,
I
he could do
lost
a
my
1 year
hat.
deal too and hit the market again next year with the smaller pitching market.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think Houston probably makes most logical sense, but I don't know.
Cole's got an opt out if he's healthy. He'll be on the market, most likely,
Yeah,
if he's healthy.
I'll keep voting Yankees until I'm right about something with them. So I'll say Yankees.
There's a couple teams that are rebuilding that could be in the starting pitching market next year that aren't right now. Like I think the Nationals got a lot of young talent coming. They could look to add a veteran next year. Um, Pirates, if they want to spend, will be in that market, I think, next year. Tigers. So there's a lot of young teams this year that could enter the pitching market next year and have more options for Snell and Montgomery if they do go back after 1 year.
Speaking of the Tigers, real quick, this is for Corey. I saw a clip of your boy Javi Baez at the plate, and all the caption said is Baez hitting 40 bombs this year, and he swung bigger than life, and it was like a ground ball that didn't even reach the pitcher.
You gotta if you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott.
At
Michael
100%
just-
of
Scott.
the swings you do take if
Had
you're
to share
Javi
that.
Baez.
I know you're on the Baez train, so I had to share that with you.
That Tigers team's going to be fun to watch. That Central's
It,
going to be fun in general because the White Sox actually, you look at the White Sox rotation, they're all huge question marks, but if they're all healthy, that's not a bad rotation all of a sudden with the guys they've brought over.
mhm.
So that Central's going to be fun to watch because they're all so mediocre.
Hmm.
Jared's thinking.
I'm just thinking about we asked about Montgomery. Now I'm just thinking about where JD could land. I mean, I don't really know who you need to
Oh,
bat out there.
Martinez?
Yeah, so
Yeah, DH only bat. I don't know.
I mean, I thought you would
Cardinals.
talk about the Braves' big signing too. When you texted us right when it happened.
I just decided Adam Duvall came back. Makes so much sense for the Braves. Braves fans and media have been pushing for it all offseason. 1 year, $3 million deal for an excellent platoon guy that's still gold glove caliber left fielder. Can play center if need be and hit bombs. So I like it.
Yeah, Adam
Kellenick's had a
Duvall.
rough spring, so getting a platoon partner for him made a whole lot of sense.
Duvall on the show's a beast. He's gonna only hit like 209, but he'll
Mm-hmm.
give you 45 homers.
Yeah, he's a 3 true outcomes guy, but he can still play defense when most of those guys can't. So it's a nice get. Braves
I'd like,
clubhouse guy.
yeah. Whenever you're done with that, I got just a quote I wanted to read.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's a quote by. Sorry, I got a cold coming on. Just a quote by a current GM that said, "There was never any doubt in my mind that he was going to continue to be our manager. But coming off the year we just experienced, I think a lot of people would have been happy if we were both gone. Me too," laughed the owner. That was the actual quote from about a week ago.
The owner would have been happy if GM was gone. Is that what you mean?
Did I
Is that
Coming
how
off
you?
the year we just experienced, I think a lot of people would have been happy if we were both gone.
Oh, I got you.
The laugh was him agreeing with, yeah, everybody else did probably want you gone, but we went ahead and gave you the power to sign somebody to an extension. But
It's insane, man. This could be a whole other Cardinals segment podcast. So I won't keep you guys around longer, but I saw that and it's insane. Somehow Matt Carpenter is going to make the starting lineup. I just know it.
he went 2 for 2 today. He's batting 380.
He's gonna
But
be
he's
in.
gonna
They're
be awful. He's awful. His bat's
They're gonna give him
slower
an extension,
than
and
me sleeping.
That's
somehow
hilarious.
Jordan Walker ends up in the minors again.
And Aaron, at the beginning of the pod, you said we're going to talk about signings, and you said some good, some are bad. Well, do you really know either way before you sign? That was my initial thoughts. Then I thought,
Yeah, you know.
maybe you do know.
Yeah, there's a few guys, you know. I'll close with this on the JD Martinez market. None of the big teams need him, really. So I saw the Guardians sit down their third base prospect they got in Savali trade. So if that puts Josh Naylor back at first base, they could use Martinez at DH. I'm sure you could get him for a couple $1 million, and they need all kinds of offensive help. Buster said they hit 120 homers last year, something like that, like 124 homers, something extremely low.
That's what I hit in a season.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you guys
I
want
didn't-
actual baseball, not information, you should listen to Buster's podcast.
You
That's
should,
what
not
I've gotten
ours.
from this.
Yes, not ours. Of course not. I will reference Buster.
The amount of references Cooney has given is everyone's
It's not. I'm just
unsubscribing.
letting you know it's not my knowledge.
Everyone's
I'm not taking
unsubscribing
credit.
from this podcast and going to that one. Thanks,
Oh, I
Aaron.
don't have to listen to this. I can listen to a better podcast.
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
That's where they get all their info from.
Well, we are a week away. Do the games actually start on Wednesday or Thursday next week?
I don't know. Ask Buster.
Well, I'll see what Buster says. I didn't know. Next week will be our 1-year anniversary and our 50th podcast. So thank you, Rakers, for hanging with us all year. Our fantasy draft last year was a blast for us to do, but we know it was kind of crazy to listen to. So thank you for putting up with our stupidity and our ignorance. 49 episodes later.
Yeah, not just last week, all weeks.
Yes.
What's our motto going into season 2? We got to.
I think you got it for us. It's not I'm an idiot anymore. It's just throw strikes.
That, and then the other one is we're changing everything.
Yeah.
I like
Perfect.
Slightly,
I like
though.
it.
Not a lot, but everything's changing very slightly.
Well, just throw strikes, guys. And until next time, don't forget to
Rake.
Rake
your
your position.